Jim Weingarten was a transformative leader in academic medicine, both at Duke and nationally. He was among a handful of leaders that really sought to incorporate biomedical science in everything that we do, in the training of our medical students, in the teaching of clinical medicine on the wards, and then in developing the faculty at Duke. And then nationally, in his role as being the director of NIH, he really advocated for the increase in funding that allowed top academic medical schools to flourish.
Jim Weingarten truly is one of the giants of American medicine in the latter part of the 20th century. He's a part of a small group of individuals that profoundly changed the concepts and the practice of medicine, and in particular, the training of physician scientists who will continue to allow medicine to progress.
If you believe that some physicians should also become scientists to aid our quest to overcome bad diseases, you owe a debt to Jim Weingarten. If you believe that Duke should take its rightful place among the premier institutions who conduct biomedical research, you owe a debt to Jim Weingarten.
I can honestly say that there's been no greater influence on my career. Nobody who has had such an important role in my career and supporting it as Dr. Jim Weingarten.
Jim contributed something very unique. He was what we would call a complete physician. He was a scientist, he was an educator, he was a clinician, but he was also an administrator.
Jim stands among only a few individuals who established what it means to be a physician scientist, and Jim attracted the talent by deed, word, and an example that brought Duke into the first tier of academic medical centers.
Over the first few years of my career, Jim mentored me in many ways. He used to come to my laboratory every few months, and he would actually sit at my desk and we would look at my laboratory notebooks and go through them together. He was a fantastic scientist, filled with insight, and I learned a great deal from the comments that he would make about my research.
I spent about a year in the laboratory, off and on, while a medical student, published several papers then. I knew that when I finished my hospital training that I was going to go into research, and I did. That was in the very early days of the NIH. NIH was just being set up.
As a scientist, Jim was known for his work in purine biosynthesis, which opened up our understanding of purine metabolism and GAP. As part of his interest in molecular medicine, he and Stanbury wrote a classic textbook, The Metabolic Basis of Inherited Diseases, which was really a guidepost for a generation of physician scientists, including myself. He created a physician scientist training program at Duke, which was second to none. He ran a very effective department of medicine. He stepped in after Gene Stead retired, very big shoes to fill, and took a very good department and made it even greater.
Jim was a role model for both my husband and I. He taught us medicine at Duke, and then he was a colleague of ours at NIH. and he was always so kind and willing to offer us advice and share his views on what was happening in medicine at the time.
I owe a debt to Jim Weingarten. Jim stands among only a few medical leaders who brought what today we know as physician scientists into being. He attracted people of tremendous talent to Duke who have set the tone for the place since then. And he recommended me to steps along my training pathway and gave me my first job. So Jim Weingarten, I salute you, and I join with others in doing that today.
Over the years, he supported me in many ways and was always nominating me for awards and honors of various kinds. And when I finally won the Nobel Prize in 2012, there was absolutely nobody who I was more anxious to call and tell them about it than Jim. And although Jim, as many of you who know him realize, was not the most effusive person in the world, I could tell he was really thrilled. So I'm really going to miss Jim very, very much.